Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and today I've got an interesting video for you. Today I have a Coleman model 425B. I picked this thing up for $10. I'm so excited right now. This stove works, but it needs to be gone through. The flame is like really weak. I'm going to go through this stove in this video. I have a small amount of tools here and a rag, and I'm going to go through and get this thing running good. So I have a small flathead screwdriver, I have a small pair of channel locks, I have a 3/8 inch open end wrench, a 7/16, I have an adjustable wrench just in case there's something I don't have covered with these two. I have a lighter, got some Teflon tape, some nail polish, I'll talk about that a little bit later, and I have some oil, and of course I got my rag to clean it. And let's go ahead and get started. So yes, I'm just super excited about this, to find one of these old stoves for $10. I mean, that just blows me away. I have no idea what the date stamp is on this stove. Everything appears to be in very good condition. I mean, the grate is in really good condition. Everything is good, and like I said, it does work. It just needs a little TLC. Let's see here if I can get that out. So get the tank out, and looking at the stove, here you can see that everything on the stove is pretty clean. I've already taken my air hose and I went inside this air pocket thing and I blew that out, and I cleaned these burners, made sure that this is turned off. So there's nothing on this portion of the stove really that I need to work on, so I'm going to set that aside. And where I really need to pay attention is this tank, and that's where the work needs to be done. So starting off here with the fuel cap, I can see that rubber seal, it's in need of repair. So what I've done is I've taken a little bit of rubber from an inner tube of a bicycle. I cut a small circle, and I'm just gonna take that rubber and just put it in there. This is not like a permanent fix, but this is a good solid temporary fix to get this thing some sort of rubber material like a gasket that'll let me crank down on this cap real well, and it'll give me a good seal. So that is pretty much done with that piece. There's not really anything left to do there. Now I went ahead and looked at this pump cup here. Let's take a look at that. So let's pull that off, and let's take this pump cup off and see what that looks like. You can see here that the leather, I've already oiled it. So the leather when I got this was pretty dry, and now it's in much better condition because I've already put that oil that you see there. I put that oil on the pump cup already, so that works, and it does pressurize. Now in reference to down inside there, there's a check valve, and the check valve, the cool thing about the check valve down inside there is it's in good condition. There's nothing wrong with the check valve down inside there. So meaning when I pressurize the tank, there's no air coming back. So the check valve's working. So as far as this portion of the stove is concerned, we're pretty much good to go. I think where I'm going to need to do the repair today in this video is going to be this generator tube area, and maybe looking at the valve and stuff itself. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on, because like I said, I've already oiled it and it's good to go. So I'm going to line that up. Let's stick that in right there. And we'll pull that on just like that so we can hopefully pop that into place there. So close to getting it. There we go. So that's all there is to that, and I've already oiled it. So I'm going to go ahead and start here by breaking down this generator tube. I want to see what's going on here. Looks like it's going to work. And this is mainly just to open everything up and clean it out. When it comes to working on stuff like this, it's extremely important not to over tighten anything or crank on anything too tight. Okay, so this piece came off. You can see there is a little needle there. Very close. You can see that that needle is in good condition. So we're good there. And the tip of this, if you look through it with a light, can't really see here, but let me put a little light through the back. You can see through that piece with the light. So that piece is good to go, no problems there. I'm just taking this stuff apart because I want to make sure that everything is in good condition. Let's go ahead and take this bad boy off. This is the generator itself. Make sure this is in good shape. And this is the part that might get interesting here, because this is generally the part that needs the repair. So there's that needle that we were looking at, and inside this needle is fine. I can see that there's no problems with that. There's no corrosion, although on the tip there I can feel a little bit of stuff, and I'll touch on that a little more here in a minute. But inside this generator, we want to pop out this spring if we can. Let's see if I can get this spring out, because this spring, these things get dirty when you use bad fuels, and they need to be cleaned. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that spring out or not, but it's pretty dirty, so I might have to work on that a little bit off camera. Maybe I might put it in a container full of carburetor cleaner or something and let that thing sit. But I can see right here, yeah, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but that thing has a lot of corrosion right here. So I think if I can clean this off and get this junk right here off, I think we'll be good to go, because that stuff is nasty looking. Looks bad, so I'm going to clean that. Let's take this knob off. You want to be careful with that needle, don't damage that. So the knob comes off. It looks like the knob's in good shape. We'll set that over there. Then of course, see if we can pop this loose and see how things there are looking. There we go. So something like this. There we go. So it looks like that's all good. We just need to clean this tip area. It's bad. Got a little bit of sandpaper here, and I'm just gonna try to clean this junk off of this area here. I'm just working it back and forth and pulling on this rod as I go. Yeah, look at all that junk, all that carbon and all that crap coming out of there. Boy, it didn't take much to clean that up. Boy, that cleans up real quick. put a little oil on it here. Oh yeah, look at that. Much better. So we don't have all that corrosion anymore. So that's good. That piece is done. Don't need to do nothing else there. So far so good. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pull this bad boy off and take a look inside the tank and see what that looks like. We're just going through this tank and trying to make sure everything's good to go. Yeah, that's pretty dirty. Yeah, I'm glad I took that off. Let's go ahead and clean this pickup tube up. Yeah, that was pretty darn dirty. Okay, so that jet there, or that pickup tube, is good. So as far as that's concerned, that looks okay, but I'm kind of concerned about this hole here. It looks like there's a little bit of corrosion there. Let's get my flashlight and take a look. So you can see the light coming through. So it looks like we're good to go, even though that thing was kind of dirty. Now what this does is when you turn this, it makes this needle go in and out. Look at the position of it on my finger. See how it came back and forward? So as long as that's working, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together. I'm going to use a little bit of this nail polish. I use this stuff like Loctite. I like using nail polish because it seals the threads, but it's easy to break free in the event you need to break it free. So we're just going to pop that through just like that and get that thing nice and tight. Nothing too crazy, very simple. So we're able to see that piece pop through the end there. See that? When I turn this, it goes away and then it comes back. So that's all working good. Get rid of the excess. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any problems here. This is just dirty is all. It's not really, I could probably get by without cleaning this. There's probably not really a need to do it right here, but since I'm in here, might as well clean it a little bit. And it sounds funny when I do this, but I use a little bit of oil. This is just old motor oil, and I just use that kind of to clean some of these metal pieces and kind of bring them back to life a little bit. That looks a lot better. So everything's good there. Make sure that the bottom has the corrosion off of it. No problems there. So that piece is ready to go. See that when I turn this thing, it goes out of the way. It just reduces the amount of fuel you get. So this piece looks pretty good actually. Looks like there's not a lot to do here, so I think I'm gonna just put this thing right back down in the tank. Let's go ahead and put a pretty good amount of fingernail polish on here. This stuff, like I said, is magical because it creates that airtight bond, and it's also easy to break free if you need to get in there for something. So we're going to just tighten that bad boy in. Working on these stoves is kind of fun. I'm not going to make this super gorilla tight. I'm just going to probably give it maybe one good turn. I'll bring this valve around and then park it back here. So that's really, I don't want to put too much pressure on it. That is going to be plenty tight right there, no problems. So that's done, and we got plenty of fingernail polish on the threads there, so we don't have to worry about none of that coming apart. Okay, got a little bit of carburetor cleaner here. I'm gonna spray it in this generator. Yeah, you can see some junk floating around in the bottom of that. There's some dirt and stuff. Look at that. Wow, that's crazy. That thing was pretty dirty, wasn't it? Pretty crazy. That's about all I'm going to do to that. I think that's probably good enough for now. Then I'm going to take this piece here, and after cleaning this, let's just run that up there and see how that feels. Yeah, it feels pretty free. Like it's moving pretty good. So yeah, that feels pretty good. That thing's traveling real well in there. I don't think there's any issues anymore. Got a little bit of dirt on my fingers, but for the most part I think that thing is good to go. No problems. So let's clean this tip here and we'll start putting all this stuff back together. There we go. Took it a second. Okay. Wipe off the excess. Now, gosh, you can see all that dirt down in there. Put this back on. Looks like that's nice and tight. So now let's go ahead and put this piece all the way in the generator. Let's get our nail polish ready for these threads. Let's make sure we're coating the bottom of them real good too. All the way around so we don't have no leaks. And then let's just thread this bad boy in. There we go. There we go. That's probably plenty tight. Now we'll clean the back side of this knob. Remember, there's that little screw. So we're going to clean this knob up a little bit. Let's get this screw nice and clean. I'm going to back it. I'm going to go backwards in this towel with the screw to remove any oils or anything that might be on it, so that when I put it in, there's no oils keeping that fingernail polish from doing its job. So that screw will stay where it needs to be. And that is pretty much it for this job here. Cleaning this thing up. Want to make sure that this valve turns freely. Feels like everything's working good. Everything's turning. Everything here works. Okay. So far so good. The fuel that I'm going to use is just gasoline. This is just regular gasoline. This is a low octane gasoline because the lower octane you go with, you don't get all those additives in the fuel. And for those of you out there watching might think, oh no, he's putting gasoline in a stove that should be using white gas. Don't freak out. I've been using gasoline since I was in 7th grade. And I've never had a problem. The only problem I guess I could say that I've ran into is having to do what I'm doing in this video, which is clean that generator. That's the only bad part when it comes to using gasoline. But these things will run for 20 or 30 years using gasoline with no problems. At least from my experience. Let's get rid of all those tools. I'm done with those. So we're going to take this this little cap that has that rubber from the tire inner tube, and I'm going to just tighten that down. Find the threads. I'm having trouble finding threads on things today. Go backwards until there we go. So this one I am going to tighten kind of tight. So let's open this bad boy. Let's give it some pumps. When I let my thumb off of this, you see that there's no air coming out, so that tells me my check valve is good. I've got the lighting rod in the up position. The valve is off. Now we're going to insert this into the stove, making sure that that goes in the hole here, and allow the tank just to rest right there. Turn some fuel on. There we go. Get this bad boy back. Give it a little bit of gas, let it prime. Priming, like I said earlier, is heating up that generator, turning the liquid fuel to a gas. Once this thing gets primed, then we'll open up this by putting it down. Oh yeah, look at that, the blue flame. Okay, give it another second. Oh yeah, that is way better. Look at that, the yellow flames are gone. Now we have dark blue flames, and that is what we wanted. We wanted that all along. So let's go ahead and light this secondary burner. There we go. Turn them both up, and let's pressurize a little more because it looks like these flames are getting a little bit weak. There we have it. So now we have the Coleman 425B. You can see the flames separating here. That's again a sign of overpressure, but I'd rather have plenty of pressure and run this thing. But wow, that just does fabulous. Thing's got a lot of power. Let's turn this one off. Looks like a good stove. Looks like it's going to have a bright future. Right now you can see I have a very low simmer, and then slowly turning the valve up. You can see that the flame control is just amazing on this stove. It's beautiful. I can go anywhere from a light simmer all the way up to a heavy rolling boil type of flame. This is very nice. Very impressive. Look at that. That is no joke. If you can't cook something with that flame, there's something wrong. And you can see through the flames coming out and they're kind of blowing out. That's because I'm really pressurized very well. And this valve's opened all the way up. That is a beautiful flame. That is powerful. And then again, we can go down anywhere within the spectrum of a low simmer all the way up to that flame that we just saw a second ago. These stoves are just fabulous. Very happy with this purchase. 10 bucks. It's probably one of the best $10 I've ever spent. Okay, let's give this stove a boil test. I've got 32 ounces of water, so 1 liter. I'm going to boil this water uncovered. We'll see how long it takes to bring that to a boil. I'm doing it uncovered because I want to show a realistic approach here. So let's go ahead and get this water on and let's count up. So we'll see how long it takes to boil 1 liter of water. Let's turn the flame on. Let's get this bad boy cooking. I'm pretty confident that it's gonna be boiling pretty fast, because that flame is no joke. Well, we just hit the 4-minute mark and you can see that we have a heavy rolling boil. So 4 minutes and 15 seconds to achieve a heavy rolling boil. I think that's pretty good. Now, I'll tell you something that I noticed just now, and that was I didn't have this turned on high all the way. It still had a little bit of room to go. So I might have had a little bit better boil test, or boil time rather, had I turned this valve up a little more. But still, 4 minutes and 15 seconds for 1 liter of room temperature water, that's very respectable. The temperature outside right now is about 58 degrees. So I'm impressed with the way this stove is performing. I'm very happy right now. Again, these stoves, I saw them yesterday, brand new, for $175. So to be able to pick something like this up for $10, spend a little time on it to get it working good, to me, that's a win-win situation. You know, a $10 investment, Coleman 425B. This thing's ready to serve me for another 20 years probably, maybe even more. So with all that being said, folks, again, I want to say thank you for stopping by today. I hope you got some good, useful information out of this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and as always, thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.